What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Show back with another video, and today we have finally platinum Spider-Man 2. Now, I was looking to platinum this game, since I started it. Really, I knew I was gonna go in and platinum it. I didn't even platinum the other ones. I just kind of was so hyped for Spider-Man, and when playing it, you realize that the story is going to be kind of short. So you kind of want to do something that is going to extend the gameplay in a way. Because if you don't know, Spider-Man's main story content is only maybe 6-7 hours, really, just depending on how fast you really get to it. So for me, I kind of did a lot of the side tasks, did a lot of the side missions while I was doing the actual main story missions. It took me forever to actually finish the main game. But we're done with it. We're platinumed. Honestly, there's really no need to go back to it. We spent about 30 hours into it, and that's what the little counter says, 30 hours. Did everything that we were supposed to do in it. So man, let's talk about the game as a whole right now. Now, first things first, let's go over some of the negative stuff first, because I have small little nitpicks that are not necessarily negative. It's just more of my personal preference, and I want to see how you guys kind of measure up today. Like if you guys felt the same way, or if I'm just up here just talking for no reason. Now, obviously, I'm not the first one to platinum the game. People have had the game before. Even before the game came out officially, people had already beaten it and platinumed it. So I'm a little late on that game, but I can't say I have a good experience with playing the game as a whole. And I gotta say, the first thing I'll just jump on real quick, suit powers. I kind of understand why they didn't do it. Like maybe it could have been too gimmicky, because the whole thing is that in the original Spider-Man game, Spider-Man doesn't really have he has the arms, but they're part of his suit power. He doesn't have a base special moveset like Miles does with his electricity venom powers. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have that. They gave Miles has the venom powers, and that subsets the need for any kind of suit powers. You don't really need them now, because Miles has his own little abilities. And they kind of gave Peter his own little abilities in this game with the black suit. And it just kind of makes you think, why take out all the suit powers? Another thing that kind of irked me a little bit, a lot of games tend to do this. When they come for a sequel, they try to maybe cut down on stuff that they gave you in the first game. I kind of hate that because Spider-Man had a lot of suits that he had in the original Spider-Man game, that they just did not bring to this one. I'm not really sure off memory, but I know there's a couple of the Spider-Man suits that just weren't there that could have been brought over to the second game. And if you're gonna give us all the suits anyway, and a lot of the suits that they gave us, they had us unlocked with basically suits from the old game, including DLC suits and stuff like that. They didn't give us a lot, in my opinion. Let me back that up a little bit. That in itself is just a nitpick, because I specifically do not mind the amount of suits we had. We had a lot of fire suits, a lot of cool suits. So I kind of made it seem like I'm kind of complaining about the lack of suits. That's not really the issue. It's just kind of more of that I would have liked to have the ridiculous amount of suits that we would have if we combined all the suits from game 1 and game 2. I think Miles has some of the coolest suits. He had a couple crossovers kind of type of suits with different other characters, like the Captain America suit, the Wolverine suit, and the Black Panther suit was some of the best in the game. So it's definitely cool there. I definitely did not mind the suits they gave us, that's for sure. But I'm just kind of man, there's really no need to take out content, especially if we're gonna keep the world the same. I don't know, but I felt like when I was watching the trailers though, I felt like the trailers showed me going to Craven's homeland and stuff like that. I thought it was gonna be in more jungle area and stuff, but that was just me, I guess. I didn't really watch too much about the game. That would have been cool to have a new locale though. That'd been cool to have something different in New York to swing around in. And then we got little side dimensions like the Mysteriums and stuff, and that was just cool. But I'm talking about a real diverse. I think Spider-Man 3, if they do make it, and if they're gonna make it, it can't be set in New York. I think some of it can be set in New York, but it's got to be like Breath of the Wild, which it kind of was. They did add new sections of New York for you to play around in, but it's definitely got to be somewhere else. We got to be going on a shield helicarrier or something. It's got to be something very cool with the interface for me, just to be it would be nice to have Miles become an agent of shield or something and go to travel to different lands. Imagine what they could do. Assassin's Creed builds these nice little environments, and the games are not that fun anymore, but they build these nice environments, and it's not really beautiful to look at. Now imagine Spider-Man can go fight and swing in that city. Other than that, man, I really didn't have too much complaints. Story was kind of short, I'm not gonna lie, but I think honestly I can't really say that. I'm saying that about Omission because I I like short story games depending on what they are, because I don't like when games drag forever. Final Fantasy was a game that was not long, but it seemed like it dragged on a little bit towards the end. You know what I'm saying? I like the Spider-Man kind of kept it short and sweet. Although, to be honest, it's Spider-Man, so I would say I want a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like 2-3 more hours worth of content in the game, as far as like the story mode go. But me playing it, I was very satiated because I played it doing all these side quests. By the time I was pretty much ending the story, I was ready to go ahead and try for platinum, because I had pretty much ran and did every collectible and stuff. Most of the time when I'm in games, I don't go do that stuff. I don't go collect that stuff. I just go straight to the main story. But me having the mindset of wanting to platinum it, I went that route instead. And as for everything else, like the gameplay stuff, I think the gameplay was fantastic. Like for me, a story is good, and we'll talk about the story. The story is good, and I feel like even if a story's weak in a game, I still like it if the gameplay is fire. I think the gameplay was perfected here. Like I think it was super fun to play. I would literally stop every time I had a main mission. I would literally stop and go do whatever crime in progress. Like I literally did like everyone just to kind of fight, just kind of see some of the skills and, you know, the skill tree and stuff to kind of build that to be OP. You know, he ends up being really broken, playing like the hardest difficulty mode from the start. You know, it was really cool. It wasn't like the most challenging game at all, nowhere near it, but it was fun. The combat was fun. It was rewarding. It was, you know, challenging enough. The story to me, a lot of people were saying that the story lacked a lot of emotional depth and stuff, and it just didn't feel good. You know, it was different from Spider-Man 1 story or 2 story. I liked it a lot. I really did like it a lot, and I feel like a lot of it comes from maybe forgetting the Spider-Man 1 story and a little bit of the Miles Morales story. You know, I played the DLCs to lead up to this, but I didn't really replay the game. So me going into this with kind of like fresh eyes without really hoping on it being something exactly like Spider-Man 1 was cool. I really like the theme of it, man. Like it's something that I could see in the movies later on down the line. It basically, the whole game is basically a message to Peter to basically like sit down and be Peter Parker for a while. You know what I'm saying? He was struggling, kind of doing both and having an adult life. And Miles is there. Miles is different from what he was in the DLCs in game 1, where he was unproven, and different than in his game where he kind of, you know, really protected the city by himself, but it was an ordeal. Like Miles is a full-fledged Spider-Man now, and this game shows you how cool that is. I like the addition of his like kind of original suit and stuff. We can definitely see that if there's going to be a third game, which there should be a third game, they left kind of a cliffhanger there with Norman Osborn, but if there's going to be a third game, Peter might be out the game for a minute, and Miles might actually take over. So they might end up doing like a secondary story with Miles, and there was a lot of loose threads and stuff in the story, like Carnage. That to me completely took me by surprise, but when he picked up that symbiote, it kind of really popped in my mind who he really was, and now it made so much sense, like because I know him by Cletus Cassidy. I think he was using a different name. I'd love to see more Yuri in the next game. You know, hopefully, I mean, Wolverine should be coming out before that, so we can see a Spider-Man and Wolverine team up. That'd be awesome. And then that cliffhanger of an ending, in a way, where they introduce Silk, that's going to be a really interesting factor. I think maybe Peter might not even return for the next game, because you have Silk and she has basically the same abilities that Peter Parker has. So, you know, that'll be something that it's going to be like Miles, you know, teaching his student how to do stuff. I was really happy the way they did Miles. I was really happy the way they did the whole thing. I thought it was really cool. Honestly, great game, amazing game. Game of the year contender for sure. This and Baldur's Gate is fighting neck and neck to me. Just for the sheer expense that Baldur's Gate was, and me being a non-fan of those games and loving it. I knew I was gonna like Spider-Man, so I don't want to let my bias take control. But definitely game of the year for me, up between those two. We'll see how you feel about that. You think it's gonna win game of the year? Think it's a good game? Let me know that in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next video.